Hello and welcome to Behind the Lines. I'm Diane Dayton. Today we're going to talk about one of my most favorite shows that I love to go to at the end of the summer. It's the Longs Park Art Festival, and it's the 38th year. And with us right now, we have Bonnie St. John, the Operations Director. We also have Diane Moore, the Artistic Director. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
This is so much fun. It's a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday over Labor Day weekend. And this year we have how many artists?
We have 230 artists in total, 6 of which are emerging artists.
And what does that exactly mean?
The emerging artists are people, young people, older people who are possibly having a career change or just trying to get their art out in the world and experience the festival circuit.
What I love is the diversity of art and the caliber of art. There are a lot of artists that try to get into this show. That's right.
It is.
Yeah.
We had about 700 applications for those 230 slots. So we do think it's a very high caliber show.
So tell us, what type of art are we going to see?
Well, there are 18 various disciplines, beginning with ceramics, fiber, wearable fiber, decorative fiber, drawing, photography, painting, jewelry, wood, sculpture.
You name it.
You name it, it's
Right,
there.
right. So I think we can say basically what we have here on set.
Yes.
These are pieces from previous shows
And current.
as
Current
well.
artists.
And this piece, I was surprised how light it is. It's what, paper, is that right?
Yes, it is.
It's
Yes, it is.
amazing, absolutely amazing. This is such a wonderful event just to come out and to hang out with your friends, family, because there's also music, there's food. Tell me more about that.
We have wonderful selections of food this year. One of the things that we're doing differently, we actually have specialty coffee. Passenger Coffee from Lancaster will be there. That's the first time that they've been at the show. But we also have Rachel from Rachel Creperie, Harvey's Barbecue was a big hit last year. They'll be back. What If Cafe, and food from the Brasserie. And of course, ice cream from Strasburg Creamery.
And of course, adult beverages.
Of course, absolutely. We have mimosas, we have champagne, we have craft beers and wine, of course. And there's always water for those hot days when you're walking around.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the way it's set up too, where you have the music and the food, it's right in the center. So you can go through the aisles and see the different artists and then take a little break and then come back out again too, right?
Yes.
There's a lot of music. Music is a big part of this too. It's all part of the whole art feeling with this particular show. And you're doing something different with that this year. Tell me about it.
Yes, we're going to have a strolling musician this year. So instead of just one setting for the music will really be throughout the show.
Let's talk about who you're going to have. On Friday at 11:30, Temple Avenue. Now that's a swing band. What can we hear about that?
It is a 5-piece group with a wonderful female singer.
Okay. And then Over Easy at 2:30 is another jazz group. Is this a
Yes.
new one, I think?
Yes, they too are new.
Okay.
Show this year.
Ken Garrett, and he's phenomenal. He's going to be strolling.
He's
Tell
our
me
strolling
about Ken.
musician.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On Saturday, Two of a Kind. This is something different too. This is for children and family.
This
Yes.
is, and it is a very family, child-oriented group. While they will have a break while they're playing, they're going
Okay.
to have a musical zoo, so children can come out and kind of touch the instruments, play with the instruments. The other thing, kind of a segue from that, is this year we're bringing back the children's art tent. So that will be right in that bistro area as well, that children can come with their parents and create art on their own under the guidance of a group from Art Matters.
Oh,
so we
that's
have
great.
2 projects that kids can work on.
Do you know what those projects are?
They're going to be using recycled materials.
Okay.
So right now we're all collecting bottle caps to use as part of their projects. We'll see what they come up with.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah.
That's really good. Amy Banks Quartet. She's fantastic.
She's
going to be there on Saturday at 2:30. And we've got Ken Garrett, who's going to be strolling again on Saturday. Sunday, Dave Wilson is there at 11 o'clock, and he's been a staple there too. He's been there before.
Yes, he has. He has. How could we miss that wonderful music that he
Yeah, it's
presents to us?
very, very good. Blues on the Loose. This is going to be good at 2 o'clock on Sunday. Can you tell me more about that?
Yes, harmonica.
Oh, harmonica.
Oh my goodness, some great blues harmonica.
Okay. One of the things I really love at the festival, there's an area where you can buy raffle tickets and there's pieces of art. Tell me how
Yes.
that works and the purpose with that.
The purpose of that, of course, is part of our fundraiser because, again, the proceeds from our show support the summer music series. So if you come into our raffle gallery, you get kind of a display of everything throughout the show because so many of our artists do donate to the raffle gallery. You purchase a ticket, or multiple tickets, as many as you want, and you select those items that you think you would like to have in your home. At the end of the show, a group of us will get together and draw out of the hat. And people sometimes win a piece. Some people who have bought multiple tickets might win multiple pieces. Just depends on the luck of the draw.
Yeah, I love going through there
Yeah.
and deciding where I want to put my raffle ticket to.
Yeah.
We
Now-
anticipate that we would probably have 180 items
Wow.
within that raffle.
That's great.
Art gallery.
How many people usually attend this show? Do you know?
Our attendance is between 10 and 12,000
Wow.
over the 3 days.
That's great. And it takes a lot of people to keep this going. How many people do you have
We
that are
have
working?
at least 200 volunteers. So we have a very strong committee of about 20, 25 people to lead us throughout the year. But when we get to the actual show, we have about 200 volunteers there.
So if you want to be a volunteer and you're still watching and you're thinking, well, this would be great, how can we go about doing that?
If you go on our website, which is longspark.org, you can find the page for the festival, and on that page you can then click on the link and download our volunteer application form. And there's lots of choices, lots of different jobs for volunteers over the weekend.
I also think on the website you tell more about the festival itself, the artists that are going to be there. You can also get tickets there too, is that correct?
Yes, and if you buy your tickets in advance, they're a little bit less expensive. Tickets at the gate are $12 a day. If you buy them in advance, it's $10 if you either call our office or you can go online through our website. If you want to buy a multi-day ticket, it will be $18 at the gate, but $15 in advance.
Okay, and the hours are what, Diane?
Friday and Saturday, the hours are 10 to 6, and Sunday 10 to 5.
Okay, that sounds great. It's always a good time, rain or shine.
Rain or shine.
It's a lot of fun
Yes.
and a lot of great art.
Absolutely.
I'm so glad this festival is here in Lancaster. Thank you for sharing about this. We're going to talk to some of the artists and find out about what they do, how they do it, and their type of art, so stay with us. Welcome back to Behind the Lines. We're talking about the fabulous Longs Park Art Show over Labor Day weekend. It is September 2nd through the 4th, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And with us right now, we have a couple who's been there almost 20 years. We have Lisa and Scott Cylinder. Thank you for being here.
Our pleasure.
You do non-precious jewelry, but you started out differently. Tell me what you started out doing.
Well, when we first got married, we decided that we wanted to have a business together and we wanted to be able to have it be our income. So we decided to do a production or limited multiples series called Chicken Scratch. And so the two of us began making these pieces, and we had sales reps and we had galleries across the country carrying our work, and we were doing mostly wholesale work where we'd stay at home because we had young children at that point. And after a few years, that became a little cumbersome. We decided to branch out and do some different things.
Okay. Now the two of you met back in art school,
Correct.
and you've been together now, what, over 30 years? Is that right?
Yes.
Wow. How do you do this? You live together, you work together?
It's a managed insanity.
Right. I mean, I think
That's a good way of putting it, I'm sure.
we were kids, so that we were not fully developed when we met. So that we've just grown into this,
Growing together.
into this kind of daily life where working and life and everything, it's all just one big package.
Yeah. And you love what you do.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yes, indeed.
And that's what shows through your work.
Right.
And you have some pictures along. Can we start? Take us on this journey
Sure.
of what you have.
Go ahead.
I think the pieces started out being simplistic but whimsical. And what we did is we make everything by hand ourselves in our own studio. It's just the two of us. And we wanted to make things that people would enjoy wearing. It could be affordable. And they bring a smile to people's faces. They create conversations, which is so important in this world. I mean, I think when you see something you really like, it draws people in and they want to know, why did you choose that thing? And it's an interesting thing. So we were doing that for a long time, and we started incorporating found objects in our pieces. So there'd be a screw or a pencil sharpener or a whistle that started to work its way into this production work. And then we got to the point where we wanted something a little bit more.
And so about 10 years after just making production work, we started making one-of-a-kind pieces that were incorporating more found objects. And we've gone through series using game parts, we've gone through series using tools, and most recently we've been deconstructing and incorporating musical instrument parts into the jewelry pieces. So most of what we're making now incorporates some sort of decommissioned musical instrument part taken from broken instruments.
Wow, I was going to say, how do you go about finding these found objects?
Well, that's part of the pleasure of the entire process, where we're going out and we're seeking something. Sometimes things find us, and sometimes we find things. It depends on what we're looking for, or, like we said, what finds us. They have to be broken, so no instruments were harmed in the making of this jewelry.
Okay.
The pieces have a certain aesthetic that we really appreciate. They were used by somebody. Somebody had an experience with them, and they had a life before we found them that could have been wonderful or tragic, and we find them in these conditions and we look at them and say, wow, this is a really beautiful crafted object. How can we change it and use it in a different way?
Wow, this whole process sounds like every day is a journey.
Absolutely.
Every day is different.
Yes.
Every day.
And it's a lot of fun.
It
It's
is.
joyful.
Yeah.
It's
Really
very
joyful.
joyful. We really enjoy what we do, and we're just so fortunate to be working together and be able to support ourselves and our family this way. It's just a terrific life.
So how long does it take to complete different pieces? I'm sure the timeline is different depending upon what it is.
We make things like production pieces that we make in more larger quantities might take an hour, and we've worked on major pieces that have taken us from start to finish 8 months. Major, large works. So it's soup to nuts. It depends on what we're working on, and they can't all be big pieces and they can't all be small pieces, so it's really everything in between. But we work pretty much 7 days a week, and we work on wherever the fancy takes us, or the calling is,
Right.
or the need.
And are the hours kind of different too, depending upon when you feel moved?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, there's only so many hours in a day,
Right.
but we do find ourselves, if we're caught up in something, working later than normal or getting started earlier, depending on the need. So if we have orders that need to go out, then there's a little bit more hustle.
Right.
And those kinds of things, like the production work pays the bills, and then the one-of-a-kind pieces, those are the things that are just pleasure, and we make those just on spec, and then when they find the right person, or the right person finds them, then they leave us.
What does the studio look like? Your creative space.
It's organized chaos.
Once again, yes.
Yeah, we know where everything is, but it's not tidy.
Okay.
But we've seen much worse. How's that? We think it's organized.
Yeah.
But if you were to walk in there, it would be, I think, a little overwhelming with the amount of things that we have and the way that we have them. But we know where everything is. We have sort of an order to the madness.
Yes, of course,
Yeah.
and that is the process too. Now, you had given some pictures. Did we cover all of what you had brought along?
I think so. I mean, there's good examples of all the different things that we do, and we're going to try to bring a really nice selection to the show, as always. So we will have some production work there, all the way up to some of the big boys that people really come to look at.
Now, if we want to take a peek at some of your work and kind of as a teaser before we get to the show, we have your website, correct?
2 websites.
What are we
actually.
going to find on those websites?
They're pretty much image galleries, and they are an overview of what we do. The Chicken Scratch website has only the multiples, and they are mostly things that are currently being made. Our website for Lisa and Scott Cylinder Studio Art Jewelry has things that we currently have, things that we no longer have, and because they're one-of-a-kind pieces, we don't post everything that we make. A lot of the things it's a gallery to look at more than to know what's currently available, but it's a really good examples of the different things that we do, and also some biographical information and the like.
All right, we can find out about you, see what you do, and then we can see you at the show.
Absolutely.
Longs Park.
Indeed.
Thank you for coming in, telling us a little bit about what you do, how you do it, and what we're going to see.
Thanks.
Our pleasure.
Thanks so much. And we've got more art. Stay with us. Welcome back to Behind the Lines. We're talking about the Longs Park Art Show happening over Labor Day weekend. And now with Bonnie and myself, we have another artist. We have Catherine Kolscher. Thank you
Yes.
for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Oil paintings and etchings are what you do, right?
Correct.
And you've been coming different years, ever since 1992, to this particular show. What do you like about this show?
This show is very different from any shows that I do otherwise. The talent is just amazing, and the people that attend are very knowledgeable in art, and it just gives you an opportunity to reach a lot of people with your art.
And your art is beautiful. What we have right here is an oil painting, right?
Correct.
Tell us about this piece.
This piece here is inspired. I'm inspired by nature a lot in my work, which can be seen both in the etchings and the oils. But usually it's lighting and mood that draws me to do a scene. I live on the side of a mountain and I have like a 35-mile view, so I get these sunrises and sunsets at different times that just inspire me to paint. And so I'm very fortunate in that regard.
And I think what we can tell everybody, even though you're originally from Philadelphia, you live in Lancaster, you're in Sinking Spring.
Sinking Spring, correct.
Correct. So yeah, so this is areas that we may know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because it is a beautiful area here too. You also do etchings.
Yes, it's a technique that dates back to Rembrandt's time, 15th century. And I always worked in pen and ink growing up and loved it. And the etching just seemed a natural thing for me to try. You can get so detailed. And I tend to use that more for winter trees because it's a very linear art form. And you work with acid, and it's challenging, very time consuming, and is not for the faint of heart. If you want to see something immediate, you're not going to get that with etching. So,
How long does it take? What is that process?
yeah, well, the process is essentially on a copper plate. It's very much, I like to explain it to someone who doesn't know about the process. It's very similar to the way money is created, engraving. If you've ever seen on PBS or one of the other stations how money is created, they use a copper plate and they engrave the image, and then from that it's inked and the image is produced. The difference between engraving and etching is acid is introduced into the mix so that it eats the lines out that you draw. So you put a resist on the plate that's acid resistant, draw through it, and then put it in acid. This is a simplified version, of course.
Yeah.
And then you ink the plate when you're finished, and you transfer the image to paper. And then I also tint them with watercolors in some instances. So it's a very, very interesting process. A lot of people are really drawn to it when they see it, just for the process itself.
Yeah, how long have you been doing etchings?
Oh, I probably started back in, probably 1990, I'm going to say.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, before you were doing what you were doing with the fine art, you were in advertising.
Yes, I was, yes.
So how did you make that leap, and what was that catalyst that said, you know, I really want to do this?
Well, graphic arts is very much a different art form than fine arts. I always have been into the fine arts, but someone fresh out of high school, I had to go to work, so I went to Philadelphia and got a job at an ad agency and did that.
Right.
But I'd always had my sights set on fine art, and finally made that transition in 1988.
What happened? Did you start selling pieces and
No,
realize-
it was a planned thing in that I was doing both for a long time, getting up super early. Yeah, I
Yep.
put my time in. But eventually, you're right, it did start to translate to dollars, and I was able to go freelance with, you know, it was very
Yeah,
transitional.
right.
But I was happy once I did get into it full time. I wouldn't look back for a second. I really love it.
It's wonderful. It's a great way to express yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then when people see your art, what comments do you hear?
Well, I guess people that don't know how to draw a straight line, as they say, they're in awe. But I always say anyone can be an artist. It really just takes time and perseverance. And but some people have a gift, and I know I have that. But it doesn't mean that everybody can't try it and do it.
And finding the medium
Yes.
that works, as we were talking, you know, before to Lisa and Scott, and what they do and what they were drawn to with that. This show, as we were talking about earlier, has 230 artists. Is that right?
That's right. And so we have artists who are well established. We also have in that 236 emerging artists, people who are just starting out on this road, getting to their beginnings when doing the different art shows and art circuits. I think the one nice thing about doing an art show like this is that it's not that you walk in to a gallery and you buy a piece of art, but you actually get to interact with the artists and talk to them about their process, talk to them about what inspires them. So it really makes it much more personal.
It definitely does, and I know I really enjoy that too, because getting to meet the artists and finding the stories behind and the process is a part of what really makes this show what it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and to reiterate, in case you're just joining us, we have a lot of things going on at the show. We've got a lot of music, a lot of food.
We have a lot of music, a lot of food. We have activities for children. We'll have strolling musicians, and of course the wonderful art, all different kinds of artists to meet and look at their work.
And
take something home.
And what's really important about this show, it helps support this wonderful summer music series, which is Sunday nights and now some Saturday nights.
We are
too.
doing actually 3 Saturday nights this summer, so the 3 Saturdays after the 4th of July during July. So this last Saturday night, actually, we will have Amy Banks with us on Saturday night and then continue through Sunday nights through the rest of the summer.
It's great. And to bring together this collection of art and the artists to this environment at Longs Park is a beautiful place. If you've got to park yourself, it's a good place, isn't it?
Absolutely, it's definitely a destination getaway, and there's a lot to see besides the art if you wanted to come just for the surroundings alone.
Oh yeah, just to hang out and talk to the ducks as well.
I've done that.
And we're close to downtown Lancaster,
Exactly.
so certainly you can make a day of it or make a weekend of it.
That's right.
Yeah.
And once again, to reiterate when it is Labor Day weekend. So it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's September 2, 3, and 4. And that Friday and Saturday, it is 10 till 6. Sunday, it's 10 till 5. You can also go online. We're going to put the website there too. You can find out about the artists. You can get tickets and just check out everything prior to. Thank you so much for being here today and telling us about what you do and about the Longs Park show. We can be a volunteer
you.
too, right?
Absolutely.
Volunteer.
We would love
We
to
have
have more
volunteers.
volunteers.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we'd like to say thank you for joining us today, too. I'm Diane Dayton with Behind the Lines, and remember, keep looking behind the lines. You might be surprised what you find.